Are you seeking guidance on your spiritual journey? Need help with a vexing problem? Missing a loved one and looking for answers? Look no further than Psychic Insights, a small trusted psychic service offering mediums, psychics, and spiritual coaching. This service is managed by Hollis Taylor, a gifted psychic medium, astrologer, and a compassionate coach. We are dedicated to helping you navigate your spiritual awakening. At Psychic Insights, we provide medium readings and psychic insight to help you plan for tomorrow and make choices for today. Find the support you need, compassionate grief coaching, and astrological insights to help you spiritually grow and transform. Our professional services include well-managed schedules, recorded sessions, and reliable psychic mediums ready to facilitate your transformational experience. Discover more at psychicinsights.life.
Hello, peoples. Hello, peoples out there. Welcome. We're glad you're tuning in tonight. Hey, Shauna, it's good to see you.
Hello.
And Vicky's here. And Carla Solis, welcome. We're so glad to have you all here. Hey, Sarah Smile. Welcome.
Hello.
Yeah. Shauna says it's been a rough few days. Not just for you, Shauna. It's for everybody. It's because Neptune just moved into Aries, sweetie. It's it's pretty much true for most of us on some level. All I can say is when a big planet moves from one sign to another sign, everybody feels it. And so I don't think you're the only one, Shauna. Hey, Amber.
Hello.
Hi, Joette.
Hello.
So what do we do when we feel like crapola? I feel like crap. When you don't feel good, try not to like make up stories. Have you ever done that, Sarah? Where you try to make up a story as to why you're upset, where you don't really know why you're upset, you don't really know why you're uncomfortable, you don't know why you feel like crapola, but you try to make up a story to go along with it.
I think we do it to make other people comfortable, or we feel that need to explain ourselves.
Yeah, maybe sometimes that's what it is. Sometimes I just get curious, and then sometimes I'm just like, screw it, who knows? Who knows? I feel like crapola, and hopefully I'll feel better tomorrow. That's usually what I think. So, if you're feeling like crap, you don't have to make up a big story about it. You don't need anything from anyone. Hi, Angela. Welcome.
Hello.
When I feel like crapola, I'm just like, okay, whatever. Most of the time I find the best way to do it is to just keep doing with what you would normally do.
Right.
Don't come off your path too much.
I think that's important. I always, like I tell everyone, and myself included, is to hold space for your feelings. And I know that's hard because even myself, sometimes I just want to feel like crap and be miserable.
Yeah, I don't ever want to feel that way, but I used to want to feel that. I used to work really hard at feeling like crap. It's a hilarious thing that we do sometimes. It's usually a result of trauma. Did you know that sometimes we make ourselves feel like crap on purpose? I mean, it's not usually conscious, it's usually subconscious. But we make ourselves feel like crap by like complaining or always finding fault with things. I did this all through my 20s. Gosh, it was a really bad strategy. And I've seen people do it. I've seen them. Like, you tell them something good and then they come at you with something else bad. And you're just like, okay, all right. Right? Yeah. So Hey, Dana and Nikki. Hey, Heather. Annie and Nelia. Kristen. Welcome, everybody.
Yes, welcome indeed.
Sarah Barr is anxious today. It's probably because you probably have something in 0 degrees Aries or something. Or it could be in Libra. Hi, Kim. Welcome. It's good to see you.
I'm so excited to have everyone here tonight. I can't express how much it means to just see like all the names pop up and just that support. It really means a lot. So thank you all.
Yeah, sweet. Kathleen. Get all those little emoji things. Welcome, Kathleen. And Sarah Connolly and Jennifer Brown and Sarah Gomez. I'm glad you're all here. Welcome.
Welcome.
All right. Well, all right, Sarah. So, how about I drop out and you do some introduction, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hello, everyone. For those of you who are new here, my name's Sarah Redcrow. I started my mediumship journey 3.5 years ago. Mind you, when I was a child, I was able to hear spirit. It sounded like whispered conversations to me, but as a child, I didn't pay any attention. And it wasn't until, well, November 26th of 2021 when my world, and not just my world, but my whole family's world was torn apart. We caught COVID and it was bad. My son, myself, and my spouse, and my 2 daughters, we were all positive, but it was the 3 of us that had the worst symptoms. And if it wasn't for my older daughter, I don't know where we would have been, because even though she was positive, she didn't have as bad symptoms. So she literally took care of not only her younger sister, but her older brother. And unfortunately, my son, my only son, he didn't survive. He passed away very suddenly from COVID complications. You ever hear that term, like a thief in the night? That's literally how COVID was for us. The day before, he was sitting up. So November 25th, he was sitting up in bed, playing on his Wii U. And I remember going into his room and thinking, oh, good, finally, he's getting better. Later that night, like mind you, my son was 20. So, we hugged, but there wasn't no like cuddling. But I remember opening his bedroom door and I was going to say goodnight to him, and I noticed he was sleeping. And I stood there at his bedroom door just staring at him. And for those of you who are parents, whether you're a mother or father, I'm sure all of us at one point held our breath while we looked at our children, normally when they're like infants, to make sure they're breathing. With my son, this was a constant since he was newborn. I had him at 30 weeks because I had preeclampsia, and his lungs were underdeveloped. They got stronger with age, but I was always watching him, and I found myself that night doing the same. And I had this overwhelming urge to just go crawl into bed with him. But 1, I knew he would have been like, what are you doing? And then 2, I didn't want to disturb him. Sometimes I wish that I would have just, because I can't help but think if I was sleeping in the same room with him, maybe I would have got him to the hospital sooner. But I slept in the next day, and it was my daughter that came and grabbed me and said, Mom, you better come. And I'll never forget the look on his face when he was struggling to breathe. I took him to the hospital, and that same night he passed away at 10 p.m. I was there watching while all the nurses and the doctor on charge were performing CPR on him. After he passed, they let me go into the room, and I remember telling him to come back to me. I told him that he's in the people and to come back. That same night, me and my daughters were sitting on the couch, and I remember looking down the hallway, and I noticed his bedroom door was open, and I was going to get up and close it because, well, we have a couple cats, and even though my son loved the cats, he didn't really like them going in his room. So I was like going to close it, and his bedroom light was off. And then I heard literally like the light switch turn on, and the light turned on. And then I thought maybe I was seeing something, and then it turned off again. And then I said, Jonah, and it turned on. And that was my first sign from him that he heard me and he came back to me. And, when he passed, just like everyone here, whether it be your child, your spouse, your parents, siblings, best friend, you get hit with that, that gut punch of, oh my God, I'm never going to hear from them. I don't know what they're doing, are they safe? All those thoughts run through your mind, and that wasn't good enough for me. So I decided that I was going to learn to communicate myself. I went to a few different mediums, medium fair, and the few times where I would bring up, and I was shy, so I would bring up the fact that I wanted to learn. And there were some that were slightly supportive, some that would just say, oh, you're either born with it or you're not. Well, here's the thing. We all have the ability. It's like a muscle that you just have to work to do. And then I found this amazing group, Mediumship Communicating with the Dead, Grief, and Loss. And that's where I met Hollis. And I did their discovery meeting. And the same thing, I asked them. I said, I want to learn how to communicate. And I was bracing myself because I remember waiting for that, oh, no, it's either you're born with it or you're not. But no, Hollis instead told me, you know what? Why not? They taught me how to trust myself and trust in what I'm receiving for signs, whether it been a thought, smell, all your clairs, if for those of you who know the different clairs. And I couldn't be more grateful for that. I've also met a number of other wonderful people in the mediumship community. And I wouldn't be where I am today without their support. So I always like to say a huge thank you to all of them. Normally I would tell about how we're doing the live tonight. It'll be spirit-led reading. So that just means that whoever's loved ones would like to show up and step forward, I will be giving you a description of how they look, their personality. Your job is just to listen, and anything that resonates with you or stands out, please say in the comment, hey, I can take this. Don't be afraid. Don't be discouraged at all if your loved one does not show up tonight. It does not mean that they're not with you. Also, a huge part, if everyone noticed, so on my thing, it says Sarah Redcrow -2. And the -2 is very important because it's not just me doing this, my son helps. And a funny little backstory to that is when Hollis was trying to make my link, it would not work without the -2. And it was Hollis that brought up, oh, because it's Jonah. And that's exactly what it is, because my son helps bring your loved ones through. I ask him to help me. I always like to show a picture of my baby because he's a huge part of this as well. So this is my son, Jonah. He was about, I want to say 17, maybe 18 in this picture. We were walking, going on a nice summer walk, and this butterfly just happened to land on his shoulder, and it stayed there for the whole walk home. I also have a picture of him holding this butterfly in his hand as well. Nothing was wrong with the butterfly. It just was drawn to him. And, you know, sometimes when I see butterflies, not all the time, but the biggest thing then I like to say for signs, because everyone asks about the signs, is to trust in the signs that you're getting. And it's just like this, you just know. Usually it's like if you see something, and then I always say when your loved one just like pops in your mind, like whether you'll see their face or just think of them, that's usually their way of saying, yes, it's me, I'm sending this. Before we start tonight, I just like to share a quick little story. So back at the end of October of this, or I guess last year, it's 25 now, but my dad passed away, and we laid him to rest next to my son. And I always wore my son's graduation ring on a necklace, but for some reason, I decided to put it back on my hand, and my hand's small, so it would fall off. And one day, as I was visiting Jonah's and my dad's resting spot, his ring fell off, and we looked everywhere. We used a giant magnet, a metal detector, everything. And throughout the winter, and when it came near spring, we would have the snow melt a bit, and we'd look again, and nothing. And I was losing hope, and I was so angry at myself because I thought, how irresponsible could I have been? Well, today, me and my daughter went to go visit like we do every day. And she looked down and she goes, Mom, look. And I have his ring back from October to April. And it was right in between both of their resting places. And it was so ironic because I've searched that area 1,000 times since that point. So I want to share that because I took that as the huge sign of my son saying, Mom, I'm still here. So, yeah, I just want to share that with everyone. Again, tonight we'll be doing spirit-led readings. So that just means that I will be giving descriptions of your loved ones as they step forward. All I ask is that you listen, and for whatever pops out that you can recognize them by, please put in the chat what you can take, and that way we can narrow down who is here for who. Don't be afraid to ask your loved ones to step forward, and please never be discouraged if they don't. It's nothing personal. Sometimes our loved ones are just private, and that's where the more private readings benefit. I know before I started doing mediumship myself, I was always on lives, and my son would sometimes come through, but sometimes he just wouldn't. And it was actually funny because I was in a live with Stacy Siegel Brickley, and he came through very briefly, and she messaged me. She said, hey, do you mind, like in the comments, she said, do you mind private messaging me after the live? And I said, No, not at all. Well, it turned out that my son, he did want to talk to me, but he, even in life, he was a very private person. And his words, and I knew it was him, is that he didn't want to be like a dog and pony show. He didn't want to perform for everyone. And that was just my son's way of wording that, hey, mom, let's do this privately. And that was like, since then, that's what I always say, like, don't be discouraged. Your loved one's with you. So with that, I will just ask everyone for your permission to work with your energy and that of your loved ones. We'll get started. Let's relax, have fun, and just think love and light. Okay. Jonah, can you please help Mom bring loved ones who have messages through? So I do have, I want to say, a young girl stepping forward. She looks to me about, I would put her between the ages of 16, maybe 18 at most. She's thin build. She has very straight hair. It kind of comes to like her jawline. It's it kind of reminds me of like a reddish brown, very light. She has a little bit of freckling on her nose and her cheeks. Very narrow, very petite, narrow nose. Like I said, she's slender build. She keeps on pushing her hair behind her ears. So I think that might have been like just a habit of hers. She has very light hazel eyes. She shows me her wearing blue jeans, and it looks like white Converse running shoes. I see her with a white t-shirt, and she has like a zip-up hoodie. The zip-up hoodie, it's just black. I can't see anything like distinguished markings or anything on the hoodie itself. I feel that she's shy, slightly timid. She keeps shuffling her feet, and it's like it's like she's looking as if she's like looking through a crowd trying to see a specific person, but she keeps on pushing, especially the hair behind her right ear. She was just showing me. So when she pushes up the one sleeve, it looks like she has one of those homemade friendship bracelets that you would just kind of braid the strands. And then I see a few like beads woven into it. Would anybody be able to recognize her? So Danielle says, sounds like my best friend, Michelle, from high school. She passed in, so Danielle says she passed in 2004, tragically coming to get me from school one day. We both cut our hair the same short. Okay, Danielle, would you be able to take like the same hair coloring? I feel that it's not so much that I'm getting that she was shy, but she was more quiet. Would you understand? She's showing me, so, either a sidewalk or, in parking spaces, sometimes they have like that brick, or not brick, sorry, cement, like that they usually put in front of the parking spots in a parking lot. She's showing me like her putting her arms out and kind of like walking along the edge like a balancing beam. And would you be able to take, so I would say I would put her age honestly between maybe 16 to like about 18, 19-ish. I do feel that she did look a little bit younger. So Danielle says she had natural beauty, yes, reddish brown hair. I did get that she didn't really wear that much makeup. Would you understand her eyes being a light hazel? Danielle says, OMG, yes, that's what she hit when she died. Oh, I'm so sorry. And would you be able to take her always like pushing her hair behind her ears? I felt more, it was like, again, I want to say like a nervous tick, but I don't at the same time. I'm really getting more that it was like almost like a comfort. I know that nervous tick and comfort thing is almost the same. So Danielle says she hit a concrete barrier on the interstate. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Would you understand that around like in big crowds, she was more again like reserved. She let's just say that she wouldn't be the one if she was going to a party. She was more the one that would stand quietly there than be like, hey, hi. But when she was with you, her personality just blossomed. She was funny. She was, she was quite a jokester. Like she could crack a good joke, and it's just like night and day, her personality. Would you understand that? And when I say night and day, I mean in public versus just one-on-one with you or like people she was really close with. So Danielle says, yes, light hazel. After we cut our hair short, she felt insecure about her ears. Okay. Would you understand that you and her, like how she's making me feel that you guys were friends since like elementary? Okay. So Danielle says she was popular and beautiful, but she was so insecure. It's like, yeah, no, I can definitely take that, how you described her, because the way she was like showing me herself, it was like I felt like she was well liked and everything, but almost awkward in crowds. So Danielle says, yes, she was ready to leave when we got to anywhere with other people. And yes, she was my best friend, and we were so ridiculously close and like sisters. Would you understand her showing me like almost, I feel like pinky promise? And then I see her going like this, and I see another hand, and then it's like pinky promise, and then that like locket. I do feel that I am with you, Danielle. She's just saying, it's actually kind of funny because she was saying hi. She says, hi, girl. But then she was like doing this where, if you look at your, no, I can't really do it. I get motion sickness easy. So, but when you do cross-eyed look and kind of a funny face, would you understand her doing that towards you? So Danielle says, we became friends in the 8th grade and she was the 9th. We were so hilarious and had so much fun. We were both on homecoming court and so awkward when we had to walk. When you guys walked together, it was, so she was showing me, you guys like had your arms linked together. And it was kind of, I just hear like, let's do this. We got this. it's like she's just saying that sometimes when things, it was harder to do when it was like you two separate, but together you guys could accomplish anything and everything. That the two of you guys were, you know, that powerhouse that nothing was standing in your way. So Danielle says, OMG, I have a cross-eyed photo of us together blown up on my wall. Oh, okay. Thank you for that validation. Yeah, she was, I really want to like show you what she was doing, but like I said, I get motion sickness easy. So I'm like, I'll try to describe it as best I could. So she was showing me, and I feel that this was more when you guys were in your teens, but I see both of you guys kind of like lounging like in each other's room. Did one of you have like those pillows that were like more fluffy, like fuzzy? And I keep seeing not a lot of like stuffed animals in that, but like a few here and there and a bunch of posters. So Danielle says, I'm sobbing. Literally, it's absolutely her. I cannot believe this. She's just saying, she goes, of course it's me. Who else would I be? She wants you to know that she is very much around you. You often talk to her still. Would you understand her saying that she says, don't feel silly for talking to me still. So I'm not too sure if at times you kind of, I feel more it was like that doubt, like how I was saying earlier. And, you know, there was times where I even felt that too, where we talk to our loved ones, but then it seems like, you know, we're talking to ourselves. And she was saying, I hear you. She says, I hear her and I try to answer her, but it's like a one-sided conversation is what she's saying. She wants you to know that she's very proud of the things that you have accomplished. She says that you, the goals that you two set out together, that some of them you have still accomplished them. And she wants you to know that she's with you every step of the way. So sorry. So Danielle says, my boyfriend died not long ago and I haven't even given her a hello. And I feel so guilty because I'm mourning my boyfriend still. Oh, hun, don't feel guilty. She says, she goes, no. She says, don't ever feel guilty. Your boyfriend, was he taller, broad shoulder, shorter hair, very nice jawline? Oh, sorry. So Danielle says, we were supposed to go play college softball together. She died my senior year. Oh, hun. You know, she's just saying that don't deny yourself dreams that you both like talked about doing together. She says that she'll always be there. She says the bond you guys share, it's like you mentioned earlier, that sister bond. And, you know, that's a very rare thing that not everyone gets to feel. Like we, you know, we make acquaintance, we make friends, but there's that rare few that the bond, it's like unbreakable. And she says that's what it is. Our bond is unbreakable. And I just want to say, I'm so sorry about your loss of your boyfriend as well. I'm just curious if you'd be able to understand, was your boyfriend, like I said, taller, broad shoulders, very nice jawline? I feel like I do have a young gentleman stepping forward. Would you understand he was in his like mid-20s? I'm getting the feeling of fit. So Danielle says he was kind of a little guy, beautiful face and smile that lit up the room, backwards hat and tattoos. His souls was so kind, and I've never found a friend like her since. Um, would you understand her saying, "Oh, babe"? Um, she goes, "You're one of a kind too." She says, "But don't be afraid to let others in." So I hope you can take that. Um, so when I'm just going to like quickly describe this person also that was stepping forward with her. He was 5'9", 107. Okay. See, I'm 5'1", so everyone's taller than me. um, for him, I felt like more like, would you understand? Like he held himself as if he was like way taller than that. Kind smile. And did he kind of have dimples when he smiled? And his hair, I'm getting that sometimes he would either let it grow just a little bit longer, or if he did cut it, it was more into like the fade style, a little bit longer in front. For him, it's like I see her and then I see him kind of like peeking around her. Um, she just wants you to know that she did greet him, even though she didn't get to know him in the physical world, because she's around you. It's like she's meeting in her own way other people. So Danielle says yes about his hair, and he just has a big, beautiful smile. He was would you understand? I don't know if I don't want to say he was a shy personality, but I feel more like, again, like her. I kept on getting this kind of like shyness to be not in a crowd, but like public speaking. Would you understand that? Um, when he smiled, would you understand? It was like it would reach his eyes, and like the corners of his eyes would kind of like crinkle up. I feel that he found like humor in a lot of things. Like he has the ability to, even in the bad situations, to find something funny about it or throw some humor at it. And would you understand? So he's showing me him wearing like a black t-shirt. And did he have kind of like this, like not full sleeve tattoos, but kind of like the idea was there? So Danielle says he was kind of shy. I can't ever get him to come through. Um, I feel that he's kind of like, he's like, I hear just this kind of whispered, I'm here now. But it's kind of funny because as he's like talking, I could feel his like, he's making that feeling of like your heart kind of racing. And I just feel that it was more to do with, I think he's more of like a private person. So Danielle says, yes, they did. His eyes smiled too. He was always the glass half full guy. Yes, to the tattoos. His tattoos too. He's kind of like looking down at them, and they were well thought out, is what I'm feeling. Like, even though they might have seemed like they didn't really match to him, everyone had like a purpose, like a meaning. So Danielle says, laugh my ass off. Yes, that's very much Tommy. Like, don't look at me, but I'm here. He wants you to know that he's still very much around you. Would you understand? Did he often, like when you two were together, it's like I see him either holding your face or just he's like had to touch you, like whether it be like moving some hair out of your eyes, or I just I see you and then him and just looking at you, and just this sense that I get from him of like you put him in awe. He wants you to know that he goes, I hope she always knows just exactly how much she meant to me and still does mean to me. He says, babe, I'm always there with you. He says that I want her to know that I want her to live her life. He says, I'll be there every step of the way. And your friend, she's like, and she grabs him by like his elbow and she goes, I will be there every step of the way. So I just want you to know, Danielle, you have literally 2 cheerleaders there with you. So Danielle says, tattoos very well thought out. They absolutely all had meaning to him. And yes, he always touched my face and said, you're so cute, and have a little mouse face. Oh, that is so sweet. He is such a gentle. It's funny because, you know, some people, they would look at his tattoos or something and be like, oh, you know, but he had a gentleness about him. But almost I get this feeling of like help a random old lady across the street. But he's saying I wasn't that. He's like, I was a tough guy too, is what he's saying. I know, Danielle, that it's very hard. And sometimes life just seems really bleak. But I want you to know, and both your best friend and your boyfriend are saying, they're like nodding with this, that it's okay to laugh. It's okay to have a good day. It's okay to have a bad day. And just to know that in the spirit, you know, they're able to do wonderful things, stuff that they weren't able to do in life. And they're always around you and with you. So don't be afraid to live your life fully. Okay? Just know that they're cheering you on. So Danielle says, I can't move forward. It seems without him, it seems he tried to be a hard ass, but was so sweet. My old neighbor was 80 years old and was obsessed with Tommy, and he loved it. It was like, even if he was busy or something, he just had this soft spot for her. He said, would you understand him saying that she reminded him of his grandmother? Is what I'm like hearing from him, or that he took her in as like another grandmother. You know, the best advice I can give you, Danielle, is just, you know, take it day by day, little by little. Okay. And just know that they are so very much with you, and they're sending you so much love. And they both said, they're like, don't worry, we'll be here. But you need to go live your life as best you can. They said that we'll be there each step of the way. And don't feel guilty, because they just said, we'll be there, babe. They both called you babe at once. So so Danielle says he would be working outside and she'd run over and feel his muscles. That's cute. He was like, he's just saying, he's like, she brought that up. He was like, yeah. He said that it was little bit on the awkward side, but it was funny to him as well, you know. Anyways, I just wanted to thank both of them for stepping forward. Thank you, Danielle, for being here tonight. And again, just know that they are with you. And they both hear you and they love you endlessly. Just going to see who else would like to step forward. Oh, so Danielle says, this was absolutely incredible. I can't even believe how amazing and accurate you were. Spot on 100%. I'm so thankful. Oh, you're so welcome. Honestly, it brings my heart joy. Christine says, what an amazing reading. Made me tear up so much. Oh, thank you, Christine. Oh, and Danielle, you're so welcome. Danielle just says, thank you with all my heart. Thank you. Thank you. Well, you're very welcome. And you were meant to be here tonight. And thank you, Tracy. She says, great reading, Sarah. I love you, girl. Love you too. Okay. Let's see. Who else would like to come forward tonight? Oh, and I just want to say thank you, Danielle, for great listening and speaking up. And just for everyone else whose loved one comes through, anyone has any doubt or feels like they're not sure if they should answer, just toss that doubt away and just speak up, okay? So I do have another male stepping forward. He's younger. I would put him maybe about, I want to say about 12, maybe 13. He's a little bit taller. Again, I said I was 5'1", so he would probably come about here to me. So he's like taller, but a little bit shorter. Slender build. His hair is a little bit more longer. It's darker brown. It kind of comes a little bit past his ears. He has very intense dark brown eyes. His eyebrows are a little bit more thicker, not like bushy or anything. He keeps on going like this, like he's like kind of wiping his nose like on his sleeve. And then he's kind of like, oh, sorry. And he's like wiping it on his pant leg. He's wearing blue jeans, black running shoes. He has a gray hoodie on. I feel that he liked to spend a lot of times outdoors, whether it be riding on his bike. He was showing me, so it looks like he had a red mountain bike, and where he's riding, it almost looks like a bike park, but also like man-made trails, or like kind of, because I see like wooded area. And that was like his time to just like, if he was upset or working through something, he loved to just go on that bike and just go. Well, as he's standing here, I noticed that he has a habit of, he keeps like looking down and then kind of like kicking. It looks like he's like kicking up rocks. Would anybody be able to take him or recognize him? He does have a sense of humor, because when I asked if anyone would be able to take him, he was like looking around. He's like, take me where? And I'm like, no, hon. I meant like recognize you. He is showing me, I do feel that he does have a younger sister. She is not in spirit. I would put her maybe about 6, 7 years old. She has big brown eyes, longer brown hair. He shows me that she'd either have them in like pigtails, but like kind of where they're in the back. And I do feel that in life he would like to tug on them. But it was like not in a mean sense. It was more like he had a very deep love for his sister. And that's what he's saying. He says, my sister. He liked to tease her, but he was the first to stand up for her or defend her. Would anybody be able to recognize this young man? So Carrie says, that sounds like my brother, but when we were younger. Okay, Carrie, would you be able to recognize yourself? Like, did you have the same, like, darker brown hair, big eyes? Sarah Goldman says, sounds like my brother because of the bike, but he was 34 when he passed away. And you know, Sarah, a lot of times our loved ones, they will show up at, it could be a younger age than what they were at passing. My son, sometimes when he does decide to come through, he'll show himself as a 7-year-old. He was 20, but that's usually, they show up at ages where they were the most carefree. So Carrie says, I know they show at different ages. He passed at 42. Okay. I'm just going to ask him if he could show me the age of when he passed. And before I do that, I'm just going to give a quick recap. So both Carrie and Sarah, if you could tell me what exactly resonates with both of you. So I would put him between 12, maybe 13, more slender build. I should have, like, the pants that he was wearing, their jeans, they're a little bit more on the baggy side, like not hanging off baggy, but not like skin tight or anything either. And his hoodie that he's wearing is kind of like a gray, a little bit baggier. Carrie said he was on the spectrum, so young at heart. Okay. And how he's showing me, it was like his hair, it was a little bit longer, came just below his ears, darker brown. He has like big dark brown eyes. His eyebrows are a little bit more on the thicker side, not like bushy. His younger sister that he was showing me, I would put her at the age that he's showing, is she looks to be about maybe 6, 7, dark hair, big brown eyes, would wear pigtails at times, and he'd like to kind of like tug on them, but not in like a mean way, but kind of like just to play with them. He loved being a big brother. You know, he would be the first to step up for you. So Carrie says, yes, that's me. And Carrie, are you able to take, so we're only a year and a half apart. Okay. So Carrie says, I am known for my big brown eyes. So Carrie says he was my protector. So Carrie, would you understand that like both of you looked quite young, even for your age? Like, as even growing up, you guys would, people would mistake your ages for being younger than what you were. So Carrie says yes to the clothes. And would you understand, did he have a red mountain bike style bike? And Sarah also says, yes, that's how he used to dress. Okay, so this next piece of information I feel is like also key. He was showing me like I want to say it's a mountain bike, but not like the mountain bikes nowadays. Think back to like older style mountain bikes. It was red, a little bit dinged up, but that was like his pride. He was showing me like it looks like trails, but I want to say they're more man-made, like walking trails. But I see like wooded area around, and he was also showing me like a bike park. What he's making me feel is that that was kind of like his way of like dealing with things. So if he was having like a bad day or something, like he would just get on his bike, and that was like his alone time, his time to think and process. So Carrie and Sarah, would either of you be able to take the bike that he's showing me, or just the fact about him liking to? So Carrie says yes. His eyes were a bluish gray, but they would look like. Would you understand? They were, to me, they look dark. So Sarah says yes. He would grab my hair every single time he picked me up from school. Okay. Carrie says pigtails. Yes. So, Carrie. Sorry. Carrie says yes to bikes. It was our favorite thing to do in the 80s. Okay. So, I'm kind of wondering if I don't have what we like to call piggybacking. So I do feel that maybe I have both your brothers here. So Carrie says we grew up in the mountains, lots of trails and roads. Okay. So Carrie and Sarah, don't worry. I'm going to focus on Carrie for a second and let her brother speak. And then I do think that your brother is here as well. So then I'll just ask them to separate. Because Sarah says yes on the bike. He loved to get away and ride his bike. Okay. Oh, so if I can have Carrie's brother step forward. Carrie, would you understand when your brother got older, his hair got a little bit more, he kept it more short, and he's showing me him wearing darker frame glasses. I do feel that even though he was supposed to kind of wear them on the daily, that a lot of times he would like take them off, and he keeps showing me like kind of he would like pinch his nose. So I'm not too sure if he suffered from headaches. He was would you understand, like he was very like matter of fact when he was explaining things, or for him it was like, I feel that like he wasn't as go with the flow, like he liked routine, and he liked routine and order. Would you understand that, Carrie? Or even Sarah, if you can take this. I did ask them to separate, and I asked for Carrie's brother to come forward first. But Sarah, if anything like that sounds like your brother as well, and if not, don't worry. I will bring forth your brother because I do feel that he's here as well. So Carrie says, yes, he would not wear glasses, and yes, straight to the point. He didn't sugarcoat. But okay. But was he supposed to wear glasses, but he didn't like them? It's like something to do. I can't figure out if it was like if they would give him headaches, or he just didn't like the feeling of like on the bridge of his nose. He was just saying sorry. Carrie says he did like to keep things orderly when he was sober. Okay. It's just like he was just showing me like his personality would be like, again, I'm using the term kind of night and day. It's like when he was like, as you said, like sober. So Carrie says, yes, he was paralyzed on his right side, so it didn't feel good. Okay. Is like when he was sober, he was more like a reserved attitude. But then like when he wasn't, he was more almost it's like a kind of like a more spontaneous, like when I say spontaneous is like he would get an idea and just go for it. But then if he wasn't, like if he was like in a sober state, it was more like things had to be planned out. Would you understand that? Um, he just wants you to know that he says when he got to the other side, he says that nothing was paralyzed. He says like he was going like this. He's like stretching his hands out, and he goes, "I just hear all fixed, all good. I'm good." He was saying that, like especially his mind was like very clear. Carrie says yes, he had a very a night and day behavior. He's just letting me know that even though it could be frustrating for other people, but the bond that you and him shared, it's like you were that person that could talk him off that ledge or talk him out of doing something overly crazily spontaneous, but you were also the one that could talk him into trying new things. He says that you always had this patience with him, and sometimes it was like, even though he was the older brother, you kind of took that like role of guiding him. He says that sometimes I wasn't always appreciative of it, as in like he was like, oh, I can do it myself, because I feel that his need for that independence. Oh, so Carrie just says, yes, I tried to save him or stop him from doing stupid things many times. And it was like his independence was very important to him, but he wants you to know that he did and does still appreciate everything that you did for him. It's like he was just saying that you got him, and you treated him just like everyone else. He's saying, because he's saying there was some people that, you know, and he does mention about being on the spectrum where they would, as soon as they knew, they would like look at him different or treat him differently, but you were always constant. You treated him just like everyone else. So Carrie says we were more like twins, and yes, I took the older guiding role. He just wants to let you know that if he couldn't have asked for a better sister. So Carrie said, I yelled at him a lot for his own good. He said he was just saying that even though at those times he would be kind of like, oh, like just leave me alone, I got this. But he says that he does know that it was out of love. It was out of love, and you're just concerned for his well-being. He wants you to know that he loves you so very much. He says, I hope you, because I do feel that he's joking when he says this, but he goes, now go be, he says, go be bossy with someone else. But he says that he's laughing because he says that's just your nature. It's not that you're bossy, but you just have that caring personality. So Carrie says, I never gave up on him. And he says, thank you for that. He says, you saw in him the good that some people failed to see. because he's pointing to his heart. And he says, because even though at times things here would be, he goes like this, like crazy and not the norm. And I hope that you understand, like the finger gestures, like the norm is he's putting, but you were able to like look past that, and you knew in his heart that he's good. He says, I love you so much. He says, you be good. He says, I want you to shine bright like you always do. He just wants you to know that he is very much with you. He says that you know the signs when he gives them. He said, just trust in those signs. So Carrie says, I try to honor his memory by talking about his addiction to help others and by being as kind as he was. And, he says that, yeah, you're on the right path. Would you understand him saying that? Because he says that you're on the right path, but then he was making me feel like there's been some people who have been kind of like, even there's people that have been encouraging you. But then I also get this sense of some people being like, why are you talking about his addictions? Let it be. And he just wants you to know that he agrees with what you're doing about helping others, and, to not just focus on the addiction, but seeing the person behind the addiction, because that's what you did for him. And he's very proud of you. And he says, keep helping others. He says, you got this. And he says, it's a beautiful way to honor him. It's like how I honor my son. I made a promise that everyone will know him, and doing these lives, everyone has. So Carrie says, yes, I know the signs, usually classic rock. He says, yeah, because like that's the best. He was like, he was playing Painted Black. I believe that's a Rolling Stones. Yeah. Yeah, I just know, for me, I love all sorts of music, mostly songs, but when it comes to like acknowledging the artist, I'm bad for that. But he was playing Painted Black for me. He just wants to know, he's so proud of you. So Carrie said, yes, most people understand why I talk about him, but one person doesn't like it. And honestly, Carrie, if they don't like it, they don't have to listen. But if it makes you feel good, then do it. You're honoring him. You're giving other people insight. And he says that he approves. He's giving thumbs up, and he says, I approve. Painted Black, Rolling Stones would come from my dad. Okay. So he was playing that song. Just know that you're on the right path. You're doing good work, and he's very proud of you, and he loves you. So I'm just going to thank him for coming through. Thank you, Carrie, for being here tonight. And I'm going to bring Sarah Gomez, if your brother would kindly step forward, because I did feel that I did have two. So, Sarah, would I be correct in saying that your brother was older than you as well? I do have a gentleman stepping forward. He's on the taller side. Mind you, I'm 5'1", so everyone's taller than me. So I would put him, I want to say between 5'10", 5'12". he's showing me him shorter, dark hair. Um, and I feel like with him, he had this like sense and this love of adventure. Um, not only like with like riding bikes when he was younger, but he was somewhat almost like a daredevil. Like he wasn't afraid to try new things. Would you be able to understand that? Oh, Carrie says, thank you, Sarah. I needed this today. I needed my brother and dad. That song was my dad saying hi as well. Aw, it's an amazing song. I love that song. Michelle says, lovely reading for Carrie. It missed my baby brother more. Oh, Michelle, just know that he is there with you. You know, even at times when we don't feel our loved ones, they're there. So Sarah says he was tall, totally him. Okay. Did your brother also have a few tattoos? Like, I want to, it almost like, so I was kind of seeing like from the shoulder a little bit down, but not covered. Would you understand that? He's quite handsome, nice cheekbones, nice jawline. And when he smiled, he was showing me like he had like nice white teeth. I feel that like he liked to take care of himself, like more in a fit way. Would you be able to understand this? And uh, from the personality wise, so Sarah says, yes, such an adventure soul. It's like where others would be like, oh, I'm not doing that. He's like, yeah, let's do it, man. Like, that's what I'm hearing from him. Like, let's do it. So Sarah says, yes, he was thinking of doing a full sleeve. Okay. But it didn't get all the way down, but he was very proud of his tattoos. He just loved life is what I'm getting from him. And his message for you right now is go live. He says, don't be scared to do things that you want to do. So it's like he was showing me himself, and then he shows me like as if he's going to go run, and then all of a sudden he like puts like as if there was ice coming up his legs, like where he's frozen in spot. He says that life is too short, time passes too quickly. He says, I'm not telling you to go bungee jumping or skydiving, but don't be afraid to do things that you're passionate about. I do feel that at one point in your life, were you kind of a little bit adventurous daredevil like him, because he was showing me and himself, and I feel like you, but I see you guys more in teenage era. And again, he's showing me like bikes, the mountain bikes. And would you understand? So I see you on one bike, him on the other. And it was like he'd look and he'd nod, like, let's do this. And you guys would kind of like bump arms together, like kind of like, yeah, we got this. Oh, sorry. Would you understand that, Sarah? Oh, sorry. Let's see. So Sarah says, he will not take, I can't do it for an answer. Oh, Sarah Gomez says, I'm going through a divorce and it's been hard to get back to do things I love. Okay. One thing I'll say, I'm so sorry that you're going through this difficult time with a divorce, but your brother's saying that in your heart of hearts, you know that it's the right decision. Sarah says, yes, we will ride together. So your brother is just saying that in time you will find that adventurous side to you again. He says right now you might feel like everything is like a whirlwind around you. So that's what he's showing me like this. But he says, have faith and trust. He says, I know right now everything's hurting, confusing, and hard, because I do feel that you and your ex were together for a while, where it's how he's saying it. It's like you're always the one to like really work on your guys' relationship between you and your soon to be ex spouse, that you kind of like lost who you were. But he says, in time, he says, sister, in time, you'll find you again. He goes, but you can't be afraid to trust yourself and find who you are. He says, I'm not there physically. He goes, but I'm there. He says, I'm so proud of you, because I do feel that this decision for you to move on from the relationship, that was a hard decision. And he says that he admires your bravery. And he goes, but now it's time to be brave and discover you again. He's just saying that he says, close your eyes and think what I would do. He says he does hear you a lot. And he goes, he's like, I'll figure out a way to like, so you could hear him. But, he says the key is to just trust in yourself, trust in the situation. He keeps on kissing his fingertips and like blowing it at you. But he wants you to know that he is very proud of you. And he says that I'm not very far away ever. I do feel that even in life, he was like your support and you were his. So Sarah says he is correct. He says, just because you can't see me, he goes, I'm still your pillar. He says, and you're still mine. He says the bond that you guys share together as siblings and also as friends, he said that's unbroken. And he says he wants you to know that when it's your time, and he keeps going like this, which I feel he's indicating like long time. But he says, I'll be there to meet you and we'll go ride again and have all the adventures that we always wanted to. Sarah Gomez, I talk to him every single day. This whole process has brought closer to the better version of myself. And that's good. Sarah Gomez says, he was my number one supporter. He says, I still am. He goes, I know it might feel like he says, it might be hard to feel and know, but know that I send you so much my love and support, and you got this. He says, I'll never be far away from you. He says, even in your guys' childhood. He is mentioning about when, because I do feel he is older than you, so when you were like younger, like the younger sibling, like, oh my goodness, but he took to you instantly, and he says, I'll always love her and protect her. So Sarah says, Sarah, thank you so much, as well as to my brother for stepping in. And thank you so much, Sarah, for being here and trusting the process and having patience. And thank you to your brother. And you have a great support system, not only in spirit, but I do feel in life as well. So always trust in yourself. Never doubt. And you'll be fine. Don't worry. You're going to make it. So
All
thank you.
right. That was beautiful, Sarah. Well done.
Thank you.
You did a really beautiful job. A couple of great readings. I know those people really appreciate it. And I hope those people that Sarah and Carrie, if you take time to write a review in the group, I know Sarah greatly appreciates that. And we're all just here. There's probably some availability this weekend, and it's a really great time to get a reading with Neptune and Aries. Psychics will feel like they're running forward right now. So psychics will be more accurate because Neptune is direct. It's just kind of a thing. So I think it's a great job too. I agree, Annie.
Thank you, Annie.
And Michelle thought that was a beautiful message. Yeah, I agree. It's beautiful. Kim in the group said so heartwarming. Carrie's like, I'm bawling still. Carrie, you've been bawling since the reading you got, right? All right. Well, it's a good time to cry anyway. So anyway. And if you have any questions or whatever, you can reach out to me or Sarah. And the good news is that when you get a reading at Psychic Insights, you can trust us because we always guarantee our readings, and we're a small service, just a few of us. And so we just hope that you take the time to book with Sarah. We will never ask you in a message. We will never reach out to you. We will never send a message and say your brother's coming through or something. That's a scam, you guys. Don't fall for that, okay? Don't send your money to anyone over PayPal or especially Cash App. I personally have been ripped off on Cash App. Cash App won't give you your money back either, even if that person does nothing. But when people have a website like this, you're guaranteed to get whatever you paid for, at least their version of that. And if you're not happy with it, you can always for Psychic Insights, you can just let us know. But and we'll give you your money back or make it up to you somehow. So Angela Lynn wants to know if you have availability after this. I think you might have later, right? Is that true?
I have availability tomorrow. Just to let everyone know, so my daughter was in a car accident, so I've been very busy with her and very drained. But I definitely have tomorrow if you're free, and this whole week coming.
Okay, great. So Angela, it sounds like you could probably catch her tomorrow. There are other people that might be available tonight if you really need it. And as everything else goes, I would suggest that all of you that did get a reading, go ahead and write a review in the group. And we appreciate you. We appreciate you being here with us. What would this be if you weren't here, huh? So thanks so much for showing up. Thanks for being part of this. And everybody's wishing your daughter getting good vibes.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm glad she's okay. So that's a good relief.
Thank you. And again, I want to thank everyone for coming and supporting tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you, definitely. And again, Angela, reach out to me. We could probably even work something out. Just need a breather.
Right.
But Yeah. I always feel guilty when people ask if I have a free available after my lives and saying no. So I'm like, but thank you.
Yeah. Well, that's usually the time that they want to go, because they've they're sort of excited. So, all right, everyone. Well, we look forward to seeing you next time, and have a great night and have a good weekend. Bye
Yes.
bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Are you seeking guidance on your spiritual journey? Need help with a vexing problem? Missing a loved one and looking for answers? Look no further than Psychic Insights, a small trusted psychic service offering mediums, psychics, and spiritual coaching. This service is managed by Hollis Taylor, a gifted psychic medium, astrologer, and a compassionate coach. We are dedicated to helping you navigate your spiritual awakening. At Psychic Insights, we provide medium readings and psychic insight to help you plan for tomorrow and make choices for today. Find the support you need, compassionate grief coaching, and astrological insights to help you spiritually grow and transform. Our professional services include well-managed schedules, recorded sessions, and reliable psychic mediums ready to facilitate your transformational experience. Discover more at psychicinsights.life.